An extreme flood threat continues to set up. Thank you for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. It is Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. This is what we've been talking about over the last 3 to 4 days, especially right through here, watching Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic. Parts of the DR have been hit so hard, north coast, south coast, taking on a lot of water. Other spots, not a ton. My son's been on the ground in the DR, been getting some reports from there. Heavier rain building as we get back toward the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and some of those storms clipping by Cuba and Jamaica. But this is extreme flooding in spots. I can't stress this enough. I really appreciate you spreading the word about this. In particular, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and Haiti. Here's one of my concerns. If you're in Haiti and the DR, for example, it may not rain above your head, right? You may not get some rain, but just say not too far away, maybe the next town or village over, it could be pouring, and then you get that runoff. And then the rivers where you are, even though it's not raining, make a very quick rise. We have seen this before. So please spread the word, Puerto Rico, the DR, Haiti in particular, that there's going to be extreme flooding around. Beware of the rivers. Even if it is dry where you are, know that something could be happening not too far away, and those rivers could really make that quick rise. And we've seen a history of that, right? So thank you for sharing this information. I'll put out some additional updates if need be. If you're subscribed, you'll get those. But just really care about getting the word out about that, because that is so critical. And you see over the next 7 days, this green, this blue, that big blob there, that's the extra rain we're going to have. It's going to be running well above average. And take a look at some of these totals. These are just over the next 5 days. This looks to continue even more so. Now, Jamaica, we had some gusty winds in spots yesterday. We'll do that again. Watching out for some downpours. Jamaica and Cuba, more in the way of scattered stuff, right? More of us stay dry. Others get dumped on at times. Watching that. The extreme stuff, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, where it's going to be more widespread, the British and U.S. Virgin Islands. Let me zoom down, and you see the coloring here. Here's Puerto Rico, for example. Some of these reds popping up. 20 centimeters of rain will be a potential, up to about 8 inches of rain right in through here, including parts of the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. We'll see how it shakes out in Agata South through St. Croix, watching Tortola, St. Thomas, St. John, of course. But intense rain. This will impact the power grid. So thank you for spreading the word in Puerto Rico. And again, back through the DR and Haiti. Those rivers are concerned. I'm very concerned about actually where it's not raining. I hope that makes sense, that the rivers could be making a rise somewhere else with heavier rain, and then that rushes into your direction. So just use a lot of caution near the rivers, whether it is raining or not, over the next several days through the weekend. And watch those river crossings very carefully. You see these spots of some heavier rain, 100 to 200 millimeters of rain, a potential over the next 5 days. This pattern, though, will continue even more so. Thank you for doing your part, getting the word out if you have any friends in Puerto Rico, Haiti, and the DR, and watching the Virgin Islands. Now, you can see how it's not all day. That's why it could be deceiving. It's not like this is a tropical depression or tropical storm. It's just this pattern. There's an old front here leaving some of that additional rain that is around. By the way, we're going to see some of that rain starting to pick up in parts of the Eastern Caribbean. We'll monitor that over the next few days. But you see here how it just continues. More and more rain at times. Sometimes we're dry, others scattered storms, and then just watching these downpours setting up. But as you get repeat downpours day after day, it really starts to stack up. That mudslide threat will be around, and those rivers will be on the rise. We see that here into Thursday, where you see these brighter colors, Haiti and the Dominican Republic. That's some of the yellow popping up. That means we're going to be seeing those downpours around. And then watch that, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Suriname, Venezuela, rain chance starting to pick up. So watching the Eastern Caribbean, got everyone covered here best I can. Now, Friday into the weekend, it's still around, still watching out for the additional rain. Eastern Caribbean, that rain chance picking up. Not as much Central America, not as much Belize, Costa Rica and Panama, some rain, but this is that area again. Eastern Cuba, Jamaica, through Hispaniola, back through Puerto Rico, some intense rain at times even on Saturday. St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent and Grenadines, Grenada, even Dominica, that rain chance picking up as we work our way into the weekend. So we're starting to see some changes leading in to the hurricane season, starting to get a little more active out there. There are the winds shooting down out of the north, and we'll see that flow kind of northeast, strong at times, the Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica over the next couple of days, even back through the Cayman Islands. But in particular, where we get some of the thunderstorms or some of the rain building up, that's where we could, and when we could get some of those really gusty winds. Now on the north side of it, here's the front. You can see it stretching all the way from the North Atlantic all the way down into the Caribbean. That is responsible in part for that really heavier rain. And then meanwhile tonight, severe weather threat, North Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, right back through Missouri, up toward the Great Lakes, watching out for some storms, spring-like storms. We are edging closer to the hurricane season. One of the signs are these spring-like storms back through parts of the United States, lifting up toward the Atlantic region of Canada. You can see some of that additional rain as we work our way into Thursday. So some storminess tonight, watching Texas, Oklahoma, parts of North Mexico, even Missouri, and then eventually stretching up through the Great Lakes. Those seas, as we work our way back toward the north coast of Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, watching near the Turks and Caicos around as well, back toward the Bahamas. That's where those seas are going to be elevated as we go over the next 2 to 3 days. So some spots on the dry side, Florida mainly dry, northern Bahamas mainly on the dry side. We work our way to the south. That's where we have the rain. These are the 3-day rain totals. Showed you earlier the 5-day rain totals, but these pockets where we just get those downpours and they continue to happen, that's where we're going to have the concern with the flooding. Now, Anguilla, we're going to be on the edge of it. St. Martin, St. Bart's, St. Eustatius, St. Kitts and Nevis, we could see a better chance of rain, even Antigua and Barbuda. So watching us in the northeastern Caribbean, and I mentioned Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, that rain chance is going to start to build a little bit more toward the weekend, especially back toward St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago. We'll be seeing that rain chance increasing as we're starting to transition, or soon will transition out of the dry season. Suriname, Guyana, Venezuela, a bit wetter. Still watching out for some of the rain, Caribbean side, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, some of the flooding parts of Venezuela and Colombia. And some of these showers may squeak out of Venezuela and clip us by in the ABC Islands. Hit or miss, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico, not a lot. Just watching in through here, North Mexico for some thunderstorms tonight. Those are the same ones that'll ride back through parts of Texas over toward Oklahoma, moving into Arkansas with some heavier weather, 2 to 4 inches of rain if you get some of those thunderstorms moving in. So you see in Jamaica, we're looking at a 40% chance of storms, but later this week, it's going to build. We're going to be up to about a 60 to 70% chance by the time we get into Thursday. The Cayman Islands were mainly dry, rain chance limited, and then gradually building toward the end of the week for us in Trinidad and Tobago, about a 40% chance as we work our way into Thursday. And you see it starting to build. Barbados, hit or miss showers, watching some of that seaweed, the sargassum on the East Coast in particular, 40% chance of rain on Thursday, and starting to build as well in St. Lucia, maybe a little bit higher by the time we get into Friday. 20 to 30% chance the next couple of days in Grenada, and then we'll get up to about a 40% chance on Thursday, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So not quite as dry to finish out the working week. Martinique will be up to a 40% chance on Thursday, and you see it gradually building. Spotty showers today possible, a little bit more on Thursday as we work our way from Dominica back through Guadeloupe, as that rain chance will be trending up. We get back toward Antigua and Barbuda on the edge of all of this, so about a 40% chance of rain, even higher, St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat, 50% chance tomorrow and Thursday, and a 50 to 60% chance. Anguilla and St. Bart's, you can see how that rain chance in the northeastern Caribbean is going to be higher. St. Martin, Saba, and Statia included. Puerto Rico, watching the downpours, watching that flood potential. It is going to be very active with some of that flooding the next few days. U.S. and British Virgin Islands included. Some islands may be a little bit drier while others are getting dumped on. Let me know in the comments if you are getting any of that heavier rain. Bahamas, mainly southern Bahamas, the better chance of rain. And watching back toward the Turks and Caicos with some of this rain building, kind of swinging back our way as we get toward the end of the week. The Dominican Republic, some spots stay dry, but others, again, the high concerns for flooding. The Dominican Republic and Haiti, thank you for getting the word out about that. That 60% chance Wednesday and Thursday across Haiti with the dangerous rivers. Meanwhile, Belize, rain chance rather low, 20 to 30% chance. And I mentioned coming out of Venezuela, we may catch a shower. Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, rain chance across the ABC Islands, about 30, maybe 40% over the next few days. Guyana starting to build some, and you can see that rain chance in Suriname up to 60% by the time we get into Thursday. 30 to 40% chance of some pop-up showers and storms back toward Cuba, and a 40 to 50% chance Costa Rica and Panama. Holding on to a 30% chance in Nicaragua, especially Caribbean side, and a 30 to 40% chance the next 3 days back through Honduras. Guatemala and El Salvador, rain chance not super high. It's not zero, but not super high. 30% chance back through Mexico City. And just that 20% chance back through the Yucatan Peninsula. This is where it's higher. Watching the flood threat. Colombia, it is going to stay active. Lots of areas of heavier rain in building even more. Back through Venezuela, we'll see some areas of heavier rain. Meanwhile, Bermuda looking good the next couple of days. Beautiful weather, Central Florida. Orlando, back through Tampa, mainly dry, nice temperatures. Gorgeous weather. We swing back through South Florida, same thing. Gorgeous weather, Fort Myers, Fort Lauderdale, back through Miami, Florida Keys included. Just the rain chance, maybe passing variety at 20%, and some isolated showers in Houston. We'll keep an eye on that line of storms building back toward the west as we work our way to tonight. So that extreme rain event, water has been getting into homes and businesses and parts of Haiti, and in particular, the Dominican Republic. Mudslides of dangerous rivers, and this pattern will continue right into the weekend. I'll be watching your comments. We're thinking of you if you're dealing with a flooding. Thank you for getting the word out. Have a good and safe day ahead.